Hello, I'm Dr. Judith Cardenas, and I am from East Lansing, Michigan, and I'm the CEO of Strategies by Design.
Wonderful. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. And before I get into all of your kind of experiences over the last 90 days and some of the wins and things like that, I'd love to find out, what your background is, where you came from and the maybe other businesses or other things that you've done in your past to get to where you are today.
Great. So I spent the majority of my career in higher education and actually was a college president for a number of years and decided that I really was not living my potential and I needed to thrive in a different space. So decided to jump out of a formal organization and try to design and create a life that I've always dreamed of. So I went into the entrepreneurial space.
Yeah. And how many years ago was that?
That was about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And since then, I've done coaching and training and doing a lot of certification. I worked at Harvard for a number of years, learning the neuroscience of high performance and really trying to just pull together the pieces of my life to see if I could create a message or a passion that I wanted to live the rest of my life through.
Perfect. So you've had your shingle out for 4 years now, and then you get to the end of 2014 and an email comes through, or where were you at the end of 2014?
Very interesting. So at the end of 2014, I had a life-changing experience. I almost lost my husband.
Wow.
Found myself in the emergency room floor just thinking, is this the way am I living the life that I'm meant to live for myself and for us?
Yeah.
Did not get the first email, actually. I don't know how I got the email. I believe it was a gift.
Yeah.
That I actually ended up getting the email about the webinar. I never got any of the emails before the webinar.
Gotcha.
Joined the webinar, and within 5 minutes after the webinar, I registered for the program.
So what was it? What was it about where you were at that you thought that this could help get you to a new place?
I knew definitely that where I was at was not where I wanted to be, that my life's work was not my passion work. And so I knew definitely that the conversation that both you and Melanie were having was to some extent mostly about business design and moving yourself forward, but it was really about trying to take a few minutes to determine, is this really the place you want to be? And I definitely, it was no, this is not where I want to be. Like in the middle of the webinar, I was like, no, this is not where I want to be.
Yeah.
And I knew definitely I had to either change the way I was working and how I was working, but I didn't think I had the right skill sets or tools.
Sure.
I had knowledge,
Yeah.
I had certifications, I have education, but it came down to really, how do you package that and then create the right behaviors to get you from A to B?
You know what? You just brought up a really good point too, because there's so many people that they have most of the information that they already need to actually be successful in what it is that they're, whether it's service-based business or whether it's e-commerce or whether it's retail, like people know. It's just, when I talk about that, the triple P business diagnostic where I'm like, it's about people, it's about process, and it's about product. What you were just describing is you already have the product part. You already have the knowledge and the skills that you can help people with, but it's that personal leadership thing to how can I get out of my own way many times. And then it's the processes, like what are the operational processes or what are the systems or what are the marketing processes I can put into place to make this thing get out there and actually help people, right? And so that's great. So you watch the webinar and you're like, hey, this is it. And so I'd love to find out from you, like, what's your experience been like over the last 90 days?
Well, it's been quite amazing, both professionally and personally. I think one of the gifts and talents that you have that really resonated with me is I'm a certified registered corporate coach.
Yeah.
So I've been in bad coaching experiences and I've been in great coaching experiences. And when you talked from your heart and from your head, I knew exactly that you were going to be able to move the needle in a way that no one else has moved it before. You are no nonsense, but with a very loving touch. The balance was just extremely powerful. So the 90 days started off a bit
I
scary.
call that my farm kid, no fluff New York style, right?
What a combination.
It works perfect, I think.
So the 90 days started scary, to declutter and to think about what went well and what went wrong the year before. It's not an easy task. Most of us just kind of don't even think about it. But it really started changing my mindset right away. I can tell you the very first lesson, it was the very first or the second lesson, probably had the biggest impact on the way I live my life now. But the program gave me concrete items that I can embed not only in my work, but in my personal life.
Yeah.
So I do cost analysis for everything now, my personal life and my professional life. My husband wants to talk to you by this. Like,
I take no responsibility for how
but who's this woman? What's happening? So
that's great.
And I loved it because there were practical skills that not only were you asked us to take a moment, pause, and take everything that we considered maybe as a negative, as a drawback, and really use that as a powerhouse to recreate our business and our lives. So it was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's that constant trying to tweak the lenses that people are looking at things with. And, it's not about having rose-colored glasses, because that is not the way that I coach at all. It's about not being afraid of the negative, not being afraid of the weakness, not being afraid of the threat. I mean, and even that word afraid in the movie, I think it's AE with Will Smith and his son. They have a great quote in it that they say, "There's nothing to fear." I'm going to butcher it right now, obviously, but the crux of it is the only thing you need to be afraid of is a tiger coming at you. Everything else is just ether in your head type of thing. So, but we make it up. We're human beings. We've got these fantastic stories that we love to tell ourselves that make something seem so fantastical or difficult or challenging. And, we're not trying to accomplish it today. It's just, what is the thing that we can eat today to get us towards it. So, anything that really surprised you about your experience in the program that was a pleasant surprise, or you didn't expect it to be that way?
Yes, I believe the lesson around paying attention to my own attention and what I'm focusing and thinking about on a daily basis. I know that cognitively, I know I'm sitting here goes, I know the science behind this, but actually I wasn't practicing it. And when I realized how much I was switching my attention back and forth and, starting one thing and dropping it in the middle of the day, by the end of the week, I did a lot of work and nothing was accomplished.
Yeah.
And so the biggest lesson I learned from that was that you can have a lot of motion and never move.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I've had a lot of motion in the last year or so. And so I think that was one of the biggest lessons, because it was hard to, accept the fact that in some parts of the world, as a leader, you are rewarded for the motion, for just almost like going from meeting to meeting to meeting without any kind of outcome.
Absolutely.
But when you are responsible for your own life and creating the outcome you want, you're not rewarded in the same way. So that was a huge shift for me.
And you know what? Like, I mean, it's people like you that I like finding people like you out there. If there's a way that I can help magnify and get people, because I like lighting the fire under really competent people, not people who are, the whole fake it till you make it thing. There's a place for it, but I think that too many people are missing the boat on. I know that there's a person out there who's really big that serves a lot of coaches and consultants and speakers, and they love to sort of beat the drum of, well, if you read 3 books, or if you're just a little bit better than everybody else, then you just have to stay one step ahead. And I think that there's a real weakness in that, and it shows up because you and I both would know the thing called imposter syndrome, and which is a really big thing for people who are really in thought leadership positions. And I mean, my strategy, I mean, I was lucky. I had, well, not lucky, I guess, but I put myself in positions. But I had Jim Rohn as a mentor for all those years, and I took the apprenticeship approach. I mean, and which I mean, the trajectory on that is just so much faster. I mean, and we're living in this world of immediacy where people want that thing now, and they're doing themselves a great disservice if they would just maybe spend, if it was even 6 months, really underneath someone who's fantastically competent. It would shorten the amount of time that it actually takes to get the results that they're really looking for. So if I can get someone like you out there who's just obviously super competent, has a lot of skills, has a lot of knowledge that can share with people, and then that's a huge win for me too. Then
it's been awesome.
So what are you excited about now going into your next 90 days?
A couple of things. I think, as both of us know, knowledge the learning for the sake of learning doesn't really move the needle.
No.
And so really have taken it to the level of, do I have enough confidence to take the skill sets that I have to create action? Mm-hmm. And so I've actually started creating action, which I believe is a much better measurable for me, because then I know, I might fall, but I fall fast and move forward. Yeah. Fall fast and move forward. And probably the momentum and the energy has just shifted totally, both in my personal life and in my professional life. So this next 90 days was all action-oriented, going back, understanding my constraints, knowing when a constraint becomes something positive and not negative, knowing when to hone in, when to bring other people in, into the fold of things that I don't have expertise in. And so the beginning of the second 90 days, I've already submitted 2 proposals. I have just received another contract last week, so I'm going to coach in DC in January. I'm sorry, in June, not in January. And I'm just getting ready to submit one of the largest proposals that I don't think I would have had confidence to submit about, ever. And so that is actually going out today. So I'm excited about, the actual potential of moving forward and moving the business forward.
That's fantastic, Judith. Those are great wins, and I'm excited about that. So if there were 3 words you'd use to describe the program, or myself even as a coach and advisor to people, what would that be?
So let me describe you first. I think the 3 words I would use to describe Todd as the leader of the program and as our master coach, it would be power, it would be enlightenment, and it would be intellectual tenderness. You have the ability to be gentle, but you push, which I love. And if I had 3 words to describe this program, it would be innovative, it would be agile. There's a lot of agility in the program. You never stay in one place for any long period of time. And it would be transformational.
Well, I will take all 6 of those words every day of the week. So thanks so much, Judith. Super appreciate all your time. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add that I missed out on?
I just wanted to add that I am not only grateful for this program, but I really want to be a shepherd for the program, because I think there are 60 million baby boomers out there who are trying to transform their life. They're educated, they're well equipped, but they don't have the right sets of tools, and you give them those tools. So whatever I can do to transform that out into the world, I'm here to do that.
Thank you so much for that, Judith. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.